I guess when the referee decides to board up the windows, lock the stadium doors, and tell the crowd the game is over before the second quarter even starts, you have to ask if he's scared of the score or just hiding the fact that there's no ball in the game. Hey Canada, it's Earl. Now, we need to have a heart-to-heart about something happening in Ottawa right now that is arguably the most dangerous move we've seen in our lifetime. This week, the Liberal House Leader, Stephen McKinnon, introduced a motion to fundamentally rewrite how our parliament works. They are calling it efficiency. I'm calling it the One Day Dictatorship Rule. They are literally stacking the deck. In a normal democracy, a bill is introduced, it's debated, it goes to a committee where experts look at every sentence, and then it's voted on. This process takes weeks or months. Why? Because it's supposed to be hard to pass a law. You want to make sure the government isn't accidentally or intentionally stepping on your neck. But here is the new plan. The Liberals are moving to stack every single committee with a lopsided majority. They want the power to move a bill from introduction to final vote in a single day.
They want to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner of every piece of legislation before the sun goes down.
If they have the majority on the committee and the majority in the House, the opposition becomes nothing more than furniture in the room. Why is no debate a disaster, you ask? Think about your own life. If your boss could change your contract, lower your pay, and monitor your phone, and he could do it all in 5 minutes without you being allowed to say a word, would you call that efficient? No, you'd call it a hostage situation. Without debate, the dark side of these bills stays hidden. We've seen this before.
If the opposition hadn't been able to challenge and slow down previous bills, your life would look very different today. Let's look at what happens when the government is challenged. First, Bill C-63, the Online Harms Act. When this first came out, the Liberals wanted to give the government the power to put people under house arrest if they thought you might commit a hate crime in the future. Because of the opposition, that madness was dragged into the light and shredded. Under this new one-day rule,
that bill would have been law by dinner time, and your charter right to be innocent until proven guilty would be in the trash.
Next is the Emergencies Act inquiry. Remember when the government tried to hide the documents regarding the freezing of bank accounts? It was only because the opposition held their feet to the fire in committees that we found out about the lack of a legal threshold.
Under a stacked deck, those committees would have just voted no to seeing the truth, and the investigation would have died in an afternoon. And of course, Bill C-11, the Streaming Act. They said it was about Canadian content. The opposition found the hidden clauses that allowed the government to regulate what you post on YouTube. If that bill hadn't been dissected for months, the government would already have a remote control for your social media feed. This is a sad time for Canada because it signals that the government has given up on winning the argument. When you can't convince people you're right, you just silence the people who say you're wrong.
If they can pass bills in a day, they can change the Elections Act to make it harder for their opponents to win. Authorize warrantless digital searches through Bill C-22 before you even hear about it on the news. Spend billions of your tax dollars on wealth funds without a single person asking where the money is actually going. Parliament isn't supposed to be a rubber stamp for the Prime Minister's office. It's supposed to be the place where the government is held accountable to you. By stacking the deck and ending debate, they aren't making Parliament work better. They are making it irrelevant. We are on a path where anything goes, as long as the person holding the pen has enough friends in the room to look the other way.
They don't want a conversation. They want a coronation. Thanks for watching. Stay awake.